You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. The one and only R&B king. Many of us tend to imagine that racial discrimination requires a whole nation of white folk to take to the streets and scream out the slogans that say, "Black people are no longer needed here." But the epitome of racial intolerance is when systematically, a certain trend of events unfold that tend to make it difficult for a certain group of people to survive or make it in life, or that tends to disable them when they cross the line of success, sending them right back to where they started if not completely eliminating them. This is the systemic version of this vice that is unfortunately very difficult to deal with, considering it is usually slowly inscribed into the laws that govern us whenever small twists of how it is interpreted are made. This was Jennifer Bonjean's argument when in one of her filings to the New York court she pointed out a discrepancy in the way the law is interpreted for different cases, where the defendants are of different color or origins. R. Kelly's attorney compared the interpretation of the RICO Act when the U.S. government was dealing with a case that involved Fox News boss Roger Ailes, who just like R. Kelly was accused by multiple women that came out to suggest he harassed them, with the way they interpreted the very same act when it came to R. Kelly's case. Observing the two situations will make you think there is two different constitutions that were referred to, one for each of the defendants, and that the two detailed the RICO Act and defined what a RICO violation is differently. The way the U.S. government chose to determine what a criminal enterprise is when dealing with defendant R. Kelly, if applied to Fox News boss, would have seen the entire staffing of Fox Corporation indicted and charged with conspiracy to commit crime. When dealing with R. Kelly's case, the government adopted an inference that every staff of R. Kelly who supported his celebrity status by either managing his accounts, his music, his travels, shows or anything of the sort that enabled him to stand out as R. Kelly and attract women to himself forms a part of his racket that he allegedly established purposely to commit crime, leading to a RICO violation charge appearing on his charge sheet. By assuming a person who books travel tickets for R. Kelly and whoever is traveling with him to go on tour becomes a part of a criminal enterprise if any, the government is trying to tell us that if Azriel came to R. Kelly's house and his personal assistant made her a cup of coffee that she liked so much and kept coming for more, makes the assistant a part of a criminal enterprise. What a petty way to think for a whole team of government attorneys. Considering Fox News boss Roger Ailes too had a team of subordinates who did these things for him, booking his travels and lunches with whoever he was out to meet, yet no RICO charges were introduced onto his charge sheet. Does the government have two separate and different constitutions for the two defendants? Or is the law only interpreted differently when the defendant is black? We definitely need answers for this convenient discrepancy in the interpretation of the law, which we believe is aimed at sending even more black successful people to prison. If the U.S. government is committed to fighting and defeating racism, rather than simply converting what was confrontational discrimination into systemic racism, there is no way such events will occur and be left unaddressed. While it was easy for the public to observe the racism in the act where a police officer relentlessly knelt on George Floyd's neck, may his soul rest in eternal peace, it is on the other hand very difficult for the same people to realize the elements of racism embedded in R. Kelly's case, because this particular version is visible on the third layer under the skin, and may need special observation tools for the world to notice it. The argument presented by supporters of R. Kelly, or even his legal team, has never been that R. Kelly hurt nobody. But hurting some people out there does not make them automatically underage because they said they were below 18. This has to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Hurting some people out there does not necessarily mean that you traffic them across state lines for illicit reasons oriented towards monetary gain. It all has to be proved that they were not of age when they traveled, and even if they were, that the purpose of the travels was exactly that. You cannot implicate the defendant over travels to attend special and official functions such as the Oscars in San Francisco. You also cannot implicate the defendant over travels orchestrated and effected by their own parents who are said to have been driving their daughters here and there in search for opportunities of all kinds. While R. Kelly may be a very kind heart and generous man, we will not ask him to pay for the sins of these parents who did this on their own. He ain't Jesus to pay for their own sins, he is simply R. Kelly. None of these elements were proved beyond reasonable doubt, and for a lack of evidence, R. Kelly deserved to be acquitted. We cannot turn the government into an enforcer of settlements for broken hearts around the United States. If this is the new trend of things, then I guess I too should be compensated for the fight I had with my wife the other day. The government also needs to look into the issue of her suggesting that I should not be talking to her female friends beyond greeting. According to the government, by doing this, she is abusing me. Very ironic, isn't it? If we are waiting for another takedown to realize that the government is again kneeling on our necks as black people just a little differently so that we can't even realize we can't breathe, we are in big trouble and may not survive the wrath of our government and double standards in the interpretation of the law, a new form of systemic racism. According to James Metz, currently as I speak, there are more positive notes about R. Kelly than the negative ones, but I still fail to understand why they continue to hold R. Kelly. It is very sad that he is still locked up even after the case facts have been demystified and his innocence is eminent. I have never seen the government be as involved in a celebrity case as it has been in the case against R. Kelly. This makes it even more suspicious, and the whole world can see something is definitely fishy here. According to Critical Thinker, the entire case against R. Kelly is laced on exaggeration, lies and corruption to make him appear like the monster he has never been. It is definitely one-sided and all the biased plotting is ridiculous and evil based off a TV show with women they didn't even vet before appearing on the docuseries. When the same women appeared on the stand, the story was different and some like Lisa Van Allen were quickly detected to be lying. Nevertheless, the government brought her to the stand again in Chicago to finalize her smear campaign, which she did. How could the courts judge in favor of such non-credible individuals? These women lied and cheated on their previous husbands to be with him, but turned against him only because none could get the number one spot in his life. And sadly the government is involved in this mix. But why is the US government ready to stoop so low just to take down one innocent black man? If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.